So you run one of Pakistan's top 4 rice export businesses. You're doing exports north of $150 million and you built this business from scratch as one of the top exporters in the country. You have access to a lot of conversations and visibility. What is it that prevents the government from taking that approach? Hey, businessman, go become a billionaire.
The mindset has to change. Let's work with these guys, and these guys are not lying.
What are the steps you would take to make the first rice billionaire?
The first thing you would do is allow serious people to come in. There should be good food laws.
Tell me about the hardest time you experienced when you almost gave up and said, I can't do this.
Or many times.
And how did you get through those times? Shahid Tawawalla, how are you today?
Very good.
So you run one of Pakistan's top 4 rice export businesses. You're doing exports north of $150 million and you built this business from scratch. So I have a lot of things to ask you. But the first thing I want to ask you is, why is Indian basmati rice the better rice in the world? Is there a reason?
First of all, it's not a better rice. It is all about perception. There were 52 varieties of basmati which the Mughals bought from Iran and planted in the foothills of the Himalayas, from Dehradun all the way down to Sialkot. These 52 original basmatis were crossed, hybridized, and lots of other things done to them to create new varieties, but their grandparents are all from those 52 basmatis.
And those are all Irani.
Originally from Iran.
And Iran doesn't grow basmati today?
No, it doesn't grow. It doesn't call it basmati. They have aromatic varieties which are like basmati, but called dumsia and others. But they don't call it basmati.
And basmati, you said, means?
Bas means smell, mati means land, and that's what the Mughals named it.
So it's a Mughal era, let's say, creation in a way.
Correct. And it's there in India and Pakistan alone. And the right to call it basmati was only in these two countries. India said that they should be given the right, and they filed a paper in Europe and elsewhere in international courts that they should have the GI title for holding basmati. Pakistan challenged it, and they found a lot of old papers and all that, and the challenge has been taken up. So both countries can use the name basmati.
So right now both countries can use the name?
Yes.
And who produces more basmati today?
India.
They produce about what, 2.2 million tons of basmati?
No, they export 2.5 million tons. They produce much more. Pakistan exports about 750,000 tons.
Oh, so they're literally like 3 to 4 times more.
Yeah, because they have larger land area on their side. And Pakistan, produces other varieties, but basmati, most of the basmati, about 2.2 million tons is consumed within Pakistan and exported only 750,000. While India exports 2.5 million, I'm not sure, but they have a larger portion locally consumed by northwestern India.
So right now, if I look at some of the export data that you and I were talking about, Pakistan's total rice exports has never crossed $4 billion. At its peak, it was $4 billion,
$4 billion,
right? India's rice exports, on average, are around $15 billion.
Exactly. But India exports about 20 million tons.
20 million tons of rice is exported in India.
Minimum.
Versus Pakistan is only doing 5.5 million tons.
5 million tons, yeah.
5 million tons. Why is Pakistan unable to catch up?
Land area. They have a larger land area.
That's it. So we're doing everything right. We're doing the right kind of seeds. We're going to the right kind of farming techniques, the right kind of storage. Everything else is perfect?
Well, not perfect. But India heavily subsidizes their farmers. Right from fertilizer? No, Pakistan doesn't. So fertilizer is around 1/4 the cost in India to the farmers. Then the government of India buys the paddy at a support price back from the farmer, mills it, and then gives it cheap price for ration to the poor people at a very, very cheap price. So they're subsidizing the farmer with a support price, which is quite high, and also giving them inputs at a very cheap price. So definitely, I mean, India, the farmer is really incentivized to grow more and more and more. That is why right now they're sitting on more surplus rice than the entire world's consumption. And
Wow.
that has depressed world markets tremendously. It's like a bloodbath right now. The prices of rice are below a farmer's cost all over the world because of just India. Total global trade is 43 million tons. Anyway, India exports about 2.22 million tons. But right now, they're sitting on over 45 million tons of surplus. That means the entire world's tradable quantity is with India.
So basically, if no one produced any rice for 1 year, India has enough to supply
No,
the world.
not produce. Basically, if nobody exported rice anywhere in the world and just India, India would fulfill the world's requirement.
Why did this happen? Because they've been subsidizing farmers and incentivizing them
Correct.
to grow rice.
Exactly.
Pakistan, on the other hand, doesn't do any of that.
Exactly. Secondly, this incentive is also a very important part of climate change. India is working very hard on climate change, and they have started mixing fuel grade ethanol in petrol and diesel. Now, that fuel grade ethanol is produced from corn, broken rice, and sugar. But first with corn and this thing. So the production, they incentivize the production so that they can, be ready for 2030 for the climate bill.
So they're using the rice for the ethanol,
Exactly.
which is going to help them on the climate bill.
So the broken rice is going there, and the other rice is being exported at a very, very cheap price. So it's been a free fall in the world market. So even though Pakistan is going to export 5 million tons this year, the price will not hit $4 billion because the prices have gone down. The prices have gone down almost by 45%.
Have they out-marketed Pakistan in the basmati game?
So Basmati is a small portion of Pakistan.
But it commands a premium.
It commands a premium.
And the best margin that I can earn as an exporter of rice is on basmati, correct?
Correct. But the thing is that our government works against us instead of with us, like India does. India really works proactively in every market. Pakistan has been banned from export to Mexico about 6 years ago.
Why is
6,
that?
7 years ago. Because the US our rice was heavily liked over there. And suddenly the US put a lot of pressure because it's US's backdoor market. And they said, your rice has khapra beetle. But our government did not fight. Vietnam fought, Thailand fought, and they got it back. We never fought. Our government immediately blames the exporter and does not fight. India has more rapid alerts and problems in the EU because of pesticide residue and aflatoxin, but their government backs the exporter, tells them what to do. Our government, tells the FIA, anybody who has a rapid alert, go pick them up. So you're fighting not only with the international market, you're fighting with the government, and the government should be working with you to improve supply chains so that this doesn't happen.
Why is the government not incentivized to work with exporters like you?
It requires a great deep understanding, and they should allow exporters and businessmen to make money. In Pakistan, when a businessman makes a lot of money, उसने कोई चोरी की है. कैसे इसके पास पैसे आ गया? Legitimate तो पैसा बनता नहीं है पाकिस्तान में.
But India में बनता है.
India में totally different mindset. They want the businessmen to grow, become billionaires. The minute a person in Pakistan becomes a billionaire, he's pulled down by everybody. भाई ये इस politician से मिला था, ये इससे हाथ मिलाया था.
Is that why all the billionaires have moved to Dubai?
Maybe. But the whole idea is, if the government really backs you and works in supply, this is not just rice. in all trades and says, how can we make you a billionaire? Then the game will change.
I can't imagine that day.
See, China has done that. Just think, we talk about BYD, but have you seen how many grants they've gotten? And they've been told, if you fail, doesn't matter, provided you give us transparency that you tried real hard, we'll give you
But
more.
that's been China's MO with all of their businesses.
Exactly.
So why can't, so as an exporter, you obviously have access to, and as one of the top exporters in the country, forget rice, you have access to a lot of conversations and visibility. What is it that prevents the government from taking that approach? Hey, businessman, go become a billionaire, build whatever you want, we'll subsidize you.
It
until
has
you
to
get
be.
there.
It has to be. The mindset has to change. They have to understand. Let's work with these guys, and these guys are not lying.
Why is the mindset like the way it is?
I don't know. Where did it crop up? Because in the 1950s, Pakistan was the first bank in Southeast Asia to come up with a mainframe computer. We were the first airline which bought in air hostesses, gave gift packs, started a business class. We did everything. We were the first. Something changed. And it's not recovered. It was
Wasn't
basic.
it Zulfi Bhutto who at that time killed the
No,
22 business
yes,
families?
because he said the wealth is getting concentrated with 22 families.
And so
but
when you're going to kill the businesses of those 22 families by nationalizing them, why would anyone ever invest?
Exactly.
And so unless you change that underlying undertone, no one's going to have a big investment here.
So how does a business grow? When it makes profit, it reinvests. And if it's given comfort, and if it's given that thing that your investment is secure, they keep on investing because they want to grow. Pakistan, after that era, has been a businessman, makes a little bit of money and transfers it to Dubai, London, US, whatever. He does not reinvest because he doesn't have the confidence that the growth pattern is welcomed. So that should change.
If that changes, let's assume a hypothetical that is going to change because we're seeing a lot of buzz, we're seeing the stock market, the way it's progressing, we're seeing all of that happen, right? A lot of global optics.
Wait. Let me correct you here. I'm not talking about speculative. Real estate बढ़ गया, stock market, these are all speculative growths. I'm talking about how many people have actually sat down in the last 5 years and really put new industry and really put in. Does anybody come up with a 25?
All of the new car companies from China that are coming in, that's all new industry.
Those are assembly plants, and it's Chinese which are coming in, and you are building an import system. How many engines are being made?
Nothing.
Forget engines. Now it's electrical cars. So how many motors are being made? How many?
It's all import.
It's all import. It's all speculative growth, consumption growth. We don't really make stuff. From your cigarette lighter, everything is imported.
We make rice though. Rice is 100%
domestic. We grow it.
Your manure, your fertilizer,
fertilizer.
Some of the ingredients probably are inputs are imported.
No, but fertilizer basically is gas. It's energy. Yes, fertilizer. These are very few, and these are monopolistic businesses with concessions given to a few people. But at large, until you get many people who are small businesses and allow them to become billionaires. Ask a small guy, let me see how I can make you a billionaire. Make businesses big. Invest in businesses, and if businesses fail because of certain circumstances, help them, bail them out, bring them up. If they have not cheated, or there should be a very strict law on misappropriation of company funds. If you misappropriate them or you misuse them, then that is there. But if a business fails or something goes wrong, and if it is something which can be nurtured, I mean, just look at Amazon. Amazon lost money for like 16 years.
Yeah.
And was still supported by banks.
So one other thing that I want to ask you, coming back to the point around building a sustainable big billion-dollar business, right? Let's say we were to do that in the rice industry, and we said that there was a policy, let's make the first billionaire in the rice business, right, in Pakistan. What, if you were in charge of that policy, what are the steps you would take to make the first rice billionaire and turn this, let's say, $4 billion business or $3 billion export business into an $8 billion business?
Rice is a high turnover business, low margin business. The first thing you would do is that allow serious people to come in, and if people who are not serious should be discouraged. So there should be good food laws. So industry actually gets a proper return on their business.
So
right now,
explain what do you mean by serious people?
Okay, so today if Faizan Syed were to get into the rice business, all he has to do is pick up a phone and call up a broker, and that guy will deliver rice. Might not be the right spec, it might be high moisture, whatever. He puts it in a bag and this guy exports it. And whether it is compliant, non-compliant, there are no food laws, and he goes and exports. So if he wants to just get export dollars because of his import business, he is just going to export the rice and get the import business and work on a negative margin. So the people who are serious, who are in business with rice mills and proper infrastructures and doing compliant rice will get hampered with a bad name of Pakistan Rice Abroad, and plus they will not get an adequate return. So one would be that. Second, the large part of the businesses like LT Overseas and other companies who are able to place their goods on shelves abroad. These goods, when they go on shelf abroad, they have a 120-day, 80 to 90-day payment cycles. Now, these payment cycles should be able to be discounted if it is going to a first-class retailer abroad. Let's say it's going to Walmart. Let's go Amazon. If it's going to Carrefour, they should be easily discounted in Pakistan, and they should be incentivized that आपका 2% withholding tax है, you'll get 0 withholding tax if you put it in a brand and go to these 70 retailers in the world. So this would be another incentive which would really work for putting rice on the shelf abroad. So this should be done. This can be done. 2, concentrate on long grain. Long grain rice is your largest portion of rice. Now everybody in power, everybody in Punjab only thinks basmati, but basmati is only eaten by Middle East or some countries in the Middle East and Pakistanis and Indians. The rest of the world, the largest traded commodity is long grain white rice, and aromatic long grain white rice has as much premium as basmati, but no major work has been done there.
What?
Thirdly, rice produces, large rice mills are not feasible in Pakistan because a mandi system is not like the Indian mandi system or the China mandi system. So a price discovery in the market and proper systems are not there. So one big rice mill can procure from various mandis and know that they can get, standardized material. So the standardization of the mandi system has to be done.
What is the mandi system? Sorry, I'm cutting you off.
So in India, the mandi is very organized. No rice farmer can sell directly to a miller. He goes into a mandi. And in the mandi, there's a proper auction. When he brings it to the mandi, he has to adhere to certain specs. That means he must field dry some of the paddy or dry it through a mechanical dryer to a certain moisture when he brings it. Then The mandi inspects the goods, writes down the inspection, and there is a mandi auctioneer, and then there is a buyer and a seller's broker. And everything is documented. There's a tax paid to the mandi. And that tax is properly collected and properly handled. And the price discovery of that mandi, of the auctions, are displayed digitally on any screen. In India, it works via NCDX. So you have price discovery nationwide. So I can have a guy broker in 9 mandis, and I know that from 9 mandis I can get rice standardized at my doorstep. And therefore, a large rice mill starts making sense.
But
now you
in
have to
Pakistan,
Pakistan, the farmer goes directly to a miller. There is no accountability to the farmer. There's no accountability to the buyer. There's no system of cash payment where the mandi has to collect cash and the tax is collected.
so the mandi system in India settles instantly.
Yes, instantly.
And in Pakistan, there is no mandi system for rice.
Yeah, and agar
So
somebody...
that basically means that a rice farmer in Upper Sindh versus a rice farmer in Punjab growing the same thing at the same cost level are going to be selling at 2 different prices.
Of course, there's information silos, no price discovery, no standardization.
This sounds like a very simple fix. What's the problem in putting this fix in place? This is not complicated.
It's not. There is a system which the British brought about, market committee and all. I don't know where that money goes.
So there's someone incentivized to not bring this system.
Incentivized or it's just forgotten.
That can't be. Yeah.
It's just forgotten.
You're telling me that standardization of pricing, which can lead to large milling, which can lead to better pricing.
We don't have standardization of anything. Today, wheat in every market we have 20 varieties with 20 different gluten values selling at different prices all over the country.
So it's a mess everywhere. I'm going to come back to what you need to do to fix the rice business. You started by saying the right people to be in the business, so you don't give the brand name of Pakistani rice a bad name. You said that you need to be able to factor, let's say, your invoices from large retailers and get a tax benefit, global large
tax
retailers.
Benefit and a discountability.
And a discountability of that payment cycle. So let's say if you're getting paid after 120 days, you get the payment upfront at a discount because you're selling to Walmart.
Correct.
Then you said that everyone is focused on basmati when they should be focused on the aromatic long grain rice, which has a higher demand globally, but no one's working on that in Pakistan. And then you talked about the mandi system, which to me sounds like the most interesting one, where there is no standardization of price anywhere in the country versus India, where there is the mandi system. So if of these 4, which is the first thing you would work on?
So I would work on the mandi system, start ground root. So the mandi system, first of all, the seed which is grown should, the paddy which is sold should be in the name of the seed. So you know exactly which seed automatically will get a premium. Now nobody has an incentive to get a better quality seed because everything is thrown in one as long grain white rice or basmati 2000, 515, different seed all clubbed together.
So let me take a step back now. So what you're saying, for the mandi system to work, it all starts with the seed. So the factors, the inputs for rice would be the seed, the soil, fertilizer, pesticides, obviously water and irrigation. Is there
By the way,
anything else?
there's another misconception in Pakistan that rice is an extremely thirsty crop. Now it's been proved that if you grow rice with less water, you get better yields. So you wet it, but you keep on drying it. So you don't put a lot of water. A lot of water actually has a lot of GHG emissions. So you get carbon credit for doing alternative wet-dry for this thing. So less water is better than more water.
So you've busted a myth right there.
Yeah.
Rice is not a thirsty crop. Everyone thinks rice is thirsty. So that means if these 4 inputs, right, if it's the seed, soil, fertilizer, pesticide and irrigation, you're telling me for the mandi system to work, we need to have standardized documentation on all 5 of these.
No, so not all 5 of these. First of all, when the person sells his seed, sells his paddy, he should say, I bought Guard 53. This is Guard 53 which I'm selling.
So when you're saying he's selling his paddy, he's selling the rice cultivated from his field.
Yes. So when he says Guard 53, so Guard 53, if it is good, then it will fetch a higher price. So Guard will be, the next year, the farmer will be incentivized to go to Guard. If his paddy sells at a cheap price, then he will say, don't buy Guard, buy another variety which is Tahaffuz.
And these are the seed manufacturing companies.
Yeah, these are the seed and they are different varieties. So 1, 2, a proper mandi system, so price discovery. Now when there's price discovery, then you can have a futures market. So futures market, then the farmer, while he's planting, he has visibility of what he will get when his crop comes out. Now he only has historical data. Last year, badi achhi कीमत मिली थी तो ये उगा लो. But worldwide, तो future में, that is the worst thing because everybody is growing that and he gets screwed. So he needs visibility. So visibility of this thing can only happen when there's price discovery on a settlement price. Settlement price is spot price. So if you have a spot price, you can have a future price. So you have a good mandi system. You build all these things and you will create big companies. And then big companies you over incentivize them. So the bigger the company, the bigger the incentive. So in India, they have a concept of a star trading company. The minute he becomes a star trading company, his imports, he is allowed lorry imports at duty free. He's allowed a subsidy on his lorries. He's allowed this. He gets transport subsidy. So the bigger the company, the more the incentive. The choti company a different kind of incentive to grow. So you make people grow big. We need people to grow big and we need profitability in the business.
So within all of the government sort of machinery, do you need the government machinery to implement a mandi system?
You do. Because
why do you need the government?
All the mandis are under the Market Committee Act. Now, every truck that comes to our warehouse, we have to pay a market committee. We do pay. This is for developing and handling mandis. I don't know where it goes.
So you're paying?
We are paying.
You are paying. How much do you pay a year?
So it's I think 2 rupees per 2 rupees per bag of material, and this is a lot of money collected.
So ballpark, if let's say 5 million tons of rice are exported, it's 2 rupees a bag. If I was to
10 bags in a ton.
10 bags in a ton. So 5 million times 10 is 50 million times 2.
Yeah.
That's 100 million of just export.
This is just export, but the local is much more, right? So
how much total rice is produced in Pakistan?
So you're looking at about 11 million, 12 million tons.
12 million tons, so 120 million, which is your 10 bags, times 2.
You have to understand, every time the truck moves, you pay marketing committee. So first the paddy moves to a paddy mill, then broken
so it's
powder.
Not just a one-time.
No.
So it is basically 120 bags times 2, that's 240 million. 240 million every time it moves.
But this mandi is not only rice. The mandi is for corn, wheat.
Right.
Wheat you produce.
So there's no mandi for wheat, corn or rice?
Yeah. It's the same mandi.
It is the same mandi.
Mandi because there are different times of crop.
But there's no mandi for any commodity.
There are mandis, but mandis are not properly regulated. They are not. There's not a price decree. It's not digital. It's not.
What stops an entrepreneur from jumping in and digitizing and
But the
setting up
mandis
this
are
space?
not in my control. They are in the controls of market committee.
And the market committee is a government entity.
Yeah.
Which is collecting money on average. Probably makes about $1 billion rupees a year.
Yeah, and I don't know how it is handled.
Which ministry does it fall under?
I think it falls under agriculture, food and agriculture.
So within the Ministry of Food and Agriculture sits an opportunity potentially $1 billion opportunity.
Exactly. This could change a lot of things. If these are properly regulated and proper, then you improve supply chains. from there you can also bring farmer. So HBL is trying to create the same thing. He's got this Zarai where they are trying to make the farmer sell to them and then they can finance them. So if you have a mandi system where he cannot sell to a mill directly, so that means he has to bring it to a mandi. That means if you finance the farmer, the risk is mitigated because he has to bring it to the mandi. The minute automatically they check any loan against this, okay, this loan has to be first paid, then he gets paid his cash. So the farmer system also comes and gets incentive, bankable. So a lot of things can happen from this system.
Why doesn't I'm assuming there's a Rice Millers Association.
Rice Exporters Association, Rice Millers Association.
Oh, there's two separate associations.
Yeah.
So why, if this is such a great idea, what stops them from pushing it up the chain?
Well, they have mentioned it many times and they've discussed it many times. But all these associations, just like Karachi Chamber of Commerce and all, they are...
photo op opportunities.
Yes, no.
Handshaking, plaque distributing opportunities.
Do you know that whenever we get an export trophy, we have to pay for it? FPCCI, we have to pay. So this year, I refused to pay. So they keep on going. So the guy who had, a lower export than me also got the trophy because a lot of people did not opt. But FPCCI takes money. Rice Export Association of Pakistan. So if you pay, you can get a gold medal also. If you pay higher, you can get a award also. So it's
crazy.
Anyway.
So if I was to look at the entire value chain of rice, I'm now piecing it together, right? So it all starts with the farmer growing a specific type of seed based on, let's say, historical data saying that, oh yeah, last year this seed did really well. Let's plant this next year as well. Once they plant the seed, then there's a couple of inputs in it. You've got the soil you have to look at. You have to look at irrigation. You have to look at pesticides, fertilizer. Anything I'm missing over there?
So you have to bring in mechanization.
And you have to bring in mechanization.
Mechanization builds accuracy, but to build mechanization, you need foundation stones. And those foundation stones are painful because imagine you need larger plots. You need to laser level. It's costly when you have multiple plots you want to make as one, it becomes very costly. So there's a capital expense.
So mechanization is important?
Very important. Now when you have a bigger plot and you do this thing, the first 2 yields you will get lower because you have moved the topsoil. So the topsoil will go topsy-turvy and therefore your yield will drop. But then you will have consistency and you will grow properly. So mechanization is important. Like that, there are many, many things that need to be done.
What percentage of rice farms are mechanized?
Punjab, much more than Sindh. Though Sindh has a bigger dividend because of the reason the farmers are large. But unfortunately in Sindh there's a different system working. The big farmers have what is called tenants, haris. And they share the produce with the hari. So each hari has 5.5 acres. So to displace the hari means displacing your political power.
Okay, so now that gets tied into this as well, the politics of it, right? Yeah. So I'll come to that in a second. So I want to come back to sort of the value chain, right? So you've got the farm, you've got mechanization. Okay, what percentage of Pakistan farming is mechanized relative to India?
India is very mechanized, much more.
So you'd say, let's say 60%, 70%?
Yeah, it's around 60%.
And Pakistan?
Pakistan is probably the lowest in the region. I don't have the exact figures, but I know I have them written somewhere. But
would you say it's ballpark less than 30%?
Oh yeah, would be.
So it's less than half of India.
Our mechanization is mainly a tractor. Secondly, our mechanization, which is even happening in Punjab, are old harvesters, old equipment which actually have grain losses. They have 20% grain losses. The farmer is stuck. He says, harvest kar do. But he doesn't know what he's losing. If we were to just, like an old New Holland, which is like 40 years old, has about 20% grain loss. Now that 20% grain loss could actually solve your wheat shortage problem. But the government does not want to stop or ban old harvesters because they say farmer गरीब है तो वो afford नहीं कर सकेगा नहीं.
Subsidize
But
कर देना.
एक साल में का payback है. It's the fastest payback ever.
So in addition to the mandi system, you would say that mechanization should be the area of focus.
Mechanization.
Give cheap loans or subsidize it, allow duty-free imports, whatever is needed.
Yeah, but stop second-hand harvesters from coming in. You need to do it. Unfortunately, the government views this as cars. They said, "हमें second-hand गाड़ियाँ रोक दी, तो these car manufacturers actually made a lot of money." But and nothing was made in Pakistan, still the engine block. But the deletion process was long. They should have corrected the deletion process. The process of bringing the car manufacture in Pakistan was good. They should say that they should be exportable and their deletion process should be improved a bit so they become industrialized.
So then it makes sense now. So in the inputs, soil, irrigation, seed, fertilizer, pesticide, mechanization. That produces a output, a crop. That crop then needs to have some sort of standardized pricing mechanism. The pricing mechanism is based on the standardization of these inputs, so you know what you're paying for. When you standardize price at scale, can you then sell at scale, which is where the large...
Exactly. Now, can you imagine if today Saudi Arabia does not like buying from Pakistan?
I thought Saudi loves doing everything with Pakistan.
No. They say we'll buy from India because we don't get scale. Average exporter, we ask him for 10,000 tons, he can't price it. Because how can a Pakistani exporter price 10,000 tons when if he goes short 10,000 tons, the market will rape him. He has no forward purchase where he can buy on the NCDX or buy on the Mandi on forward and close his contract and square his position. He will be short, so he can get killed. And he doesn't want to, so he's very cautious in selling.
So that's why the Saudi does not want to buy from a Pakistani.
Exactly. Because
but they buy all their rice from India.
They buy most of their rice. Secondly, a lot of traders are over here. There's no incentivization for large scale businesses to happen because these fly-by-night exporters undercut. They're just rotating money just to get export dollars and they kill the market. So here India again is promoting large-scale businesses. So they have KRBL, huge business. They have Lolita Agro. They have LT Overseas, the world's largest basmati exporter. These guys are huge. When you go outside, you see Dawat, Kohinoor, India Gate, all these brands on the market. You don't see a lot of Pakistani brands on the market.
So I'm going to come to that in a second as well. So when we talk about sort of scaling the business, and we said that you need a mandi to be able to build a large rice mill, then within that large rice mill, you need sort of high tech storage, processing equipment, which is another big investment, right?
Actually, that is most of the rice mills in Pakistan, a lot of them are good. People have invested very well because exports were there and we have good rice mills. But only in Punjab, in Sindh, you can count 4 mills which are proper modern plants. The rest are all not drying their material, doing wet milling and selling high moisture goods, and exporters are forced to buy those goods and re-mill them and try to, just sell it. So Pakistan is a discounted seller for long grain.
Because we're not doing the right processing once the rice is received into the mill.
Yeah, because there's no food control.
There's no food control.
There's no food control.
And there's no processing regulation. Exactly. I'm assuming there's licensing for mills though, right?
In Sindh,
there's no enforced licensing standards, regulation.
Okay. You have to have a dryer. You must dry your material.
Correct.
If a truck is caught with high moisture, you are caught.
Yes.
Nothing of the sort.
So you can basically do whatever you want.
So you do whatever you want.
That's why you don't.
So if today Faizan Syed is buying rice at 16% moisture, and if Shahid Tawawalla says 15% broken, 15% moisture, nobody will deliver to him because it's easier to deliver to Faizan. So then Shahid Tawawalla says, 16% moisture मुझे दे दो. So Faizan says, यार मेरी पेमेंट थोड़ी ढीली है तो मैं 16.5% मॉइस्चर पे ले लेता हूँ. तो 16.5 हो जाता है. Then Shahid says 16.5 कर दो. And it's a vicious cycle until he can get it past. एक टाइम होता है जब भी चावल खराब होने शुरू हो जाते हैं and then it stops. But in all this high moisture rice has high aflatoxins, so it goes into the most cheapest poor countries, and we don't get a good price for our long grain.
What is the right range for moisture for rice?
14%.
It needs to be at 14.
Yeah.
The grain of rice.
Yeah, 14% or lower.
It's interesting that honey, which is the business I was doing, is also around. The high honeys are about 17-18% acacia, but 14 to 15% is what Sidr honey is considered to be premium when it's exported from Pakistan.
Yeah.
So 14% seems to be a magic number.
But the thing is, 14% moisture in honey, honey when it's produced has higher moisture.
Yes.
The thing is that it doesn't spoil the honey that much like rice. Rice, it can give you stomach cancer.
If there's high moisture.
If high moisture creates aflatoxin. Aflatoxin is, according to World Health Organization, can give you.
So how do I ensure that the rice I'm eating is not a high moisture rice?
Well,
is there moisture?
Basmati, most of it is at low moisture because the basmati mills all dry their rice and everything.
So what you've just told me in this entire value chain, right, the way you've described it, I now want to buy Indian basmati rice because I feel that would be better, more standardized, and I'd be getting a slightly more standardized, regulated product versus the Pakistani rice.
No. See, the basmatis are better because the European Union, European buyers are your main buyers, and they have forced you to comply to certain standards. But your value chain, your supply chain on the back end. So everything on the exporters front has to be standardized, but the value chain is not standardized. So
there is going to be some variance then, right? Even if you're meeting the regulation.
Yeah, of course there'll be variance.
So because there's standards, there's minimum standards.
Yeah.
And if you're meeting the minimum standards and their minimum is here, you're getting a better product,
so
right? It's kind of like saying this, a Corolla produced in Pakistan versus a Corolla produced in Japan. If I offered you both of them at the same price, you would always buy the Corolla produced in Japan, even though they're the exact same car.
Exactly. But in Basmati, I agree with you that Pakistan has the aflatoxin problem. The good part about Pakistan rice here, I'm defending Pakistan rice for Basmati. Our pesticide residue is lower than India, was lower than India in the last 4 years.
Is it because we use less pesticide?
We use less pesticide because our farmers are not subsidized as heavily.
I was going to say it's a money problem.
Yeah, it's a money problem. But India had this problem, but India, the government has really worked hard, and the rice exporters and everybody's worked hard. And last year, they were able to meet lower pesticide residues and they were able to hit it again. Again, because of a very, very strong supply chain system. Our supply chains have to be improved.
If Pakistan is trying to build its relationship with Saudi, right, on all fronts, and if one was to create the perfect rice business and trade out the Indian rice and trade in the Pakistani rice into the Saudi market, is it something easy to do?
First of all, we are $200 more expensive. Because
even after all of this, we're more expensive.
Yes, we are more expensive because our farmer is not subsidized as much. A lot of our quality is, as far as 1121, we have a purer version because we have less varieties which you can mix. So we have a very good 1121. They like our rice in a lot of ways, but at $200 more, they don't like our rice.
Can we ever make that price difference go away?
If this is something we should be taking it up with India on WTO to fight with them, that they are, heavily subsidizing their farmer, and it is hurting their trade.
So they can do what they want. Why can't we subsidize the farmer? Why would they concede?
We are under an IMF regime where subsidy is a bad name.
So the IMF regime kills us in this.
Exactly. However, we've just been given a dividend by United States. It has a 50% duty on India and a 19% duty on us.
The tariffs that have been applied.
Yes.
I think they brought it down to 25% for India, no?
They're saying that we'll slap another 25% if you... But
that still doesn't bring the rice.
So here is somewhere we could work a little bit and are super, but again, we don't have the real quantities also.
So we have a quantity problem, we have a price problem, we have an entire value chain problem. We only have problems.
We have a lot, we are...
Who could be the face of the solution to all of these? Who can fix this?
If they put an action team together and they really want to fix it, they can fix a lot of the things.
Who's they?
Or all the provinces together, the federal government, everybody.
Is this something the military should take on? I mean, since they're fixing everything else anyways. Why not put this an initiative under the Fauci Foundation?
They can even do that. I mean,
right?
For me, I am apolitical. I don't care who's there. I feel that if the right direction is gone, and this is something which is not hurting any of them, and I think it just requires a little bit of attention.
And everyone makes money.
And everybody makes money. And I'll tell you another thing. If the government wants to make tax, it needs to make people rich. If they want everything to go up, people have to go ahead. It's very, very important. And stability. We all want stability. I don't care if Imran Khan did something good and the next government came, don't spoil that. What is good, keep it.
Is good.
And improve on it and put something new. Not just because somebody else has done it, so I'm going to negate it. Just evaluate if it's good. Continue your policies straightforward. Army generals come, next army general comes, continues with good policies. And I think they all can do it. We should put our egos aside and we should think, company Pakistan. If we think company Pakistan, it's going to happen. The only reason why I am here, I have invested everything here. I put my back in here and I believe that Pakistan can make it. And I was lucky in a lot of ways. I read markets right. And I kept on at it. I just kept on at it for 25, 30 years. Whether I made money or didn't make money, I kept on at it. So people have to have resilience and faith and just keep on at it.
And this brings me to my question around, you mentioned ego and not having ego. You built this business from scratch, right? So you've seen the entrepreneur's journey from zero. Tell me about the hardest time you experienced when you almost gave up and said, I can't do this.
Oh, many times.
And how did you get through those times?
यार फटी हुई थी कर्जा बहुत था if I ran away underway भी उतर जाती that kept me staying. I mean, I'm being very honest with you. Otherwise I would have run. If I had money, I would have run. It was just that I just had to stay to fulfill and pay the market.
So when you don't have money to pay the market, and this happens in every entrepreneur's life, right? And everyone deals with it differently, whether it's ego, whether it's fear, whether it is insecurity that triggers that reaction. How did you deal with not having money to pay and getting those calls and people showing up, mere paise de do? How do you handle that situation?
I faced it. I sat with them and I had to take calls and I kept on at it. Running away was not... See, for me, more than the money, credibility was very, very important. Credibility was extremely important. I didn't want to run away. That would have killed me inside. I would have never been able to get up. Not being able to pay or not is not a statement.
So you talk about credibility. Now the thing is that most people, when they start off their businesses and they face that first challenge like this, where they run out of money or they hit an issue, bad product, bad issues in the market, reputational risk, financial risk, ran out of money, all of those challenges that happen, most people want to escape those. They're not going to stand there and face it. And you're giving the example that Banyas would show up at your office demanding money on a daily basis. At that point in time, how can you be thinking about credibility if you were basically underwater in your business? What good is credibility?
You know what happened? I owed a lot of people. Market fell. My buyer defaulted. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have the money to pay. People came. People were shouting. Another thing is, I was brought up in grammar school, protected life and all that. I didn't know how people do chori. So a lot of people were robbing me also. I didn't know how to handle it. When the Banyas came, they were fighting with me and all that. At that time, I went and visited a lot of people who were my grandfather's friends, my father's friends and all that. They told me, he said, pitch पे खड़े रहोगे तो छक्का भी लगेगा, चौका भी लगेगा. मगर अगर आउट होगे या क्रेडिबिलिटी लूज करोगे कभी चांस नहीं मिलेगा. सो मैं हाथ जोड़ के एवरी डे आई वुड गो बैक बिकॉज आई हैड बिग ड्रीम्स. आई always wanted to. The desire to succeed was very, very high. So I went back and I listened to the bakwas and I heard it. And then I was presented an opportunity by two people who told me that they'll become my partners if they pay my debt off at an interest rate of 2.5% per month. Plus they become my partner for 50%. It was a very bad deal if you look at it, but it was a very good deal. Because what they taught me, no college, no place in the world could teach me. They taught me how to protect myself. They taught me how the market works. तेजी क्या होती है, मंदी क्या होती है, मार्केट में negotiate कैसे करते हैं. They taught me how people used to rob me. What is double billing? जब भी 20 ट्रक आते हैं तो कैसे चोरी होती है वजन की. All those things were taught to me and I learned. I learned very well. And then when I parted ways with them, I knew the game because I knew my side, the grammar school Pappu Bacha wala, and I knew the street thing. So it was a lethal combination and that's where I started getting success. But the whole idea is credibility. A lot of people helped me also. I'd like to mention a lot of people. Muhammad Ali Habib, Azaz Sarfraz. I mean, they fought for me. A banker told me that we wanted to exit Prime Bank, Chaudhry Saab. I was like crying, what will I do? Azaz Sarfraz said, मैं लेके जाता हूँ. And why did he like me? I don't know. He told me मैं लेके जाता हूँ. He caught hold of Chaudhry Saab and said, how dare you this thing? You are going to continue this facility. And he fought with him. And a lot of foul words also. Bachpan ki dosti thi. And he said, I don't give a shit. I'm not leaving the office until you sign off this paper. I don't know why he did it for me. Unfortunately, he left me. And he died, but was somebody very close to me. Muhammad Ali Habib, I mean, I told him I have nothing. I can't give you any collateral. This is very against the Habib's philosophy. And he said, just don't ever lie to me. And here's the money. And he has supported me. So a lot of people along the way helped. And I didn't let their trust go down. I sat with them no matter what happened. Mahmood Molvi, somebody you also know, I couldn't pay the market one day. He told me, he said, kitne dene? I said, 2 crore rupees. He wrote a check and he said, take it. So
it's important to have those people, the champions around you as well.
and champions, and it's important to remember them too.
And it is important to know that the champions will only come around, from what I'm taking away, is if they see you working hard and at it every single day, and you have credibility and trust.
Exactly.
Because-
Credibility is key. The day you can say, यार everybody can default a bank. Everybody can say, no, ना बोलने में टाइम क्या लगता है? 2 मिनट लगते हैं ना बोल दो. बट ना बोलने में बाद में जो उसके रिपरकशंस हैं, people don't realize that. And that is key. Every young businessman should know this. That one, sabr, you should have grit. Everybody should have grit, sabr. दूसरी चीज, second, irrespective of anything, credibility. हाँ, हक के लिए लड़ जाओ. Don't need to be soft. But don't, किसी के पैसे खा के you don't become rich. You become rich by sitting and being a hard negotiator, but always paying on time, always following up on commitments, always being there. And when I was not able to follow, I was the first guy to go to the guy and say, yaar, ye gadbad ho gayi hai. Okay? And I'm there. I made my mother sell some of her jewelry. I made my father sell his plots. That means I was willing to forego everything. The only thing I wasn't willing to do is get my father's house sold. Uske alawa everything was there for the taking. And they saw people don't do that. And it's paid for me. It's really money worked for me.
How long from when you started till you first saw success, the way you defined it?
So I first saw money, 1993 I started. The first real money I saw was in 2007.
14 years.
Yeah.
14 years. You're telling me that Gen Alpha and Gen Z kids are going to wait 14 years to get their $1 million paycheck in a digital age where they're like everything is instant?
These people have more resilience than you think. How many kids today do vesting in companies abroad? These are all these...
More than they did 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
How many years and how many people did a guy like Jeff Bezos go to raise money?
5-6 years?
No, he went to 5,000-6,000 people.
Number of people, yes.
To go, and how many refusals did he get?
Probably 80%, 90%.
And then he still continued. Okay? So, all these people, you see the success, but you don't see the years
behind it.
जिधर फट गई थी जब गाड़ी के फ्यूल के
पैसे
देने के लिए पैसे नहीं थे. You understand?
So when you look to hire someone or you look to invest in someone, what is the one quality you're looking for?
First of all, is he willing to go all in? Does he have the risk appetite? 2, if he's got the risk appetite, does he have the grit to stay? 1, risk appetite, हारने की हिम्मत. दूसरी चीज, to know that nothing comes free. You have to work for it.
And how do you determine risk appetite in another person?
उसको बोलो कि घर रखवाते हो, गिरवी रखाएगा. I have a partner's philosophy. So I have a lot of employees which are partners. We made Jaza Global. My partner was an ex-employee of mine and a great guy. He put his house, he put his brother's house, he put his parents' house, girvi, and said, I'm going all in. And he said, gya to sab kuch jayega. 2, for many years he didn't make money, but wo daan se pakadna, he was in my shoes. He had no choice but to succeed. कोई और choice नहीं है ना. जब आपके अंदर you have the ability to take risk and you have, आज किसी को बोलो कि यार अपने बाप का घर रखाओ, अपना घर रखाओ, अपनी गाड़ी रखाओ, अपनी अम्मी की ज्वेलरी रखाओ और आ जाओ मैदान में, सबकी फट जाती है. अब बात करो ना तो बोलती यार ये तो मैं नहीं कर सकता, सर ये तो मेरी बीवी नहीं मानती, मेरे अब्बा नहीं मानते, यार ये तो बड़ा मुश्किल हो जाएगा, स्कूल की फीस बच्चे की कैसे हो जाएगी. So a lot of things change. Are they willing? All these people which we hear of in the world, they went, they really worked hard. मैं आपको बड़े लोग I have seen in my field, people have the people who you see are successes have really put their back in and risked everything. And then as they become wealthy, then their risk appetite starts going down also.
Have you seen anyone who's reached that level of success and still had that appetite throughout their life? Because you're right, the appetite does go down.
Rafiq Habib was one person. Kamal ka. I mean, I traveled a lot with Yunus Tabba. Yunus Tabba hated me in a lot of ways, never liked me in many ways, but he had the twinkle in his eye, even at his old age. You told him कि ये धंधा हो रहा है यार, हम क्यों नहीं कर रहे यार, खड़े हो जाओ. Okay, and he was there.
All right.
So I have seen, but these are all first generations.
Have you seen the risk appetite in a second or a third generation?
Yeah, I have not seen that kind of risk appetite and that kind of credibility. माने खड़े होने के लिए कि खड़ा हो.
So they lose it by the second generation.
Second generation डरो, lifestyle चाहिए, गाड़ी चाहिए, घर चाहिए,
शशका चाहिए.
अच्छा खाना. कभी, I mean, I remember when I was starting out, going to a restaurant भी मुश्किल था. You know, it was like a problem.
So last thing I want to touch on before we wind up. We talked about the rice business. We talked about the opportunities there. We talked about the entrepreneurial journey. Since you have a high risk appetite and you're first gen, but technically you're not really first gen, but you behave like a first gen, right? Like you come from a family business of businessmen. You come from a family of businessmen, and now you ventured into carbon credits. What do you see in that space? It's completely different from what you're doing in rice.
I
Yes, there's a growing and a soil aspect to it.
I believe in AI, but मुझे समझ नहीं है, अक्ल नहीं है. मैं पढ़ा नहीं है उसके अंदर, डर लगता है घुसने में. एक कोई प्रोग्रामर रखूँगा, he'll make a jackass out of me. वो बोल रहा है ये कर रहा हूँ, वो कर रहा हूँ, ये कर रहा हूँ, पैसे बटोरेगा और मेरे को खा जाएगा. डर लगता है. Okay, I don't know how to do it. शौक बहुत है. दूसरा रोबोटिक्स वगैरह है और ड्रोन्स, ये भी धंधा आता नहीं है, समझ नहीं है इतनी. सो आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड इट. सो दीज टू धंधाज आई बिलीव आर द नेक्स्ट जनरेशन धंधा. थर्ड इज एनर्जी. एनर्जी, yes, there is a game to be played. There's lots of aspects of energy, and that should be looked at. But the ticket is big now to enter. It's small ticket पे नहीं घुसता आदमी. The third is climate. Climate change, just imagine. बहुत सारी चीजें. There's a company called Biotech which has started sustainable aviation fuel in Pakistan with World Bank. They're making biodiesel. There are a lot of other people coming into this field. So climate change के अंदर SAF is there, which is very big money. Biodiesel, bio-LNG. These are all things. There is carbon credits. There is other areas. So there are multiple areas which you can go. I chose the one which I can handle. I'm very much part of agriculture. I believe in agriculture. I also believe in another thing called biotech. I'm looking for a person who really understands this space, which we can go with agriculture and biotech. 1 second. So these are all areas which can be explored and should be explored.
What is it about the carbon credit space that's appealing?
carbon credits are going to be there, and they will be a normal way of trading. So today, if I'm an exporter or I am doing anything, my carbon footprint is what is going to allow me to sell into the first world. If I have a low carbon footprint, I will be able to price my products better. That's very, very important. So if I can go into this space, it's important for me to work there.
So if I want to enter the carbon credit space today, what is the first thing I need to do?
There is 1 zillion things you can do. So there is anything that can improve oxygen or reduce emissions, you will get carbon credit, which is cleaner than the current grid or cleaner than the current area. You will get carbon credit or anything. So you can enter as medium pace, big pace, any place in the game. Earlier, when our grid was very dirty, people who put up solar, the smart guys went in for carbon credit, and they applied for carbon credit because your grid was dirty, and they got carbon credit. Now the grid has become cleaner. There's so much solar, your carbon credit value is rated to the condition of the grid, so you will get less, and it's going to be difficult. But other areas, there are many areas where you can do it. I mean, used oil for biodiesel, cellulose waste for biodiesel and sustainable aviation fuel. Your used cooking oil, which is being done by this company called Biotech. So multiple areas. I mean, you have to look in whichever area which
Is of interest to you.
Exactly.
Great conversation, Shahid. I really learnt a lot. I think I've understood the rice business today better than I ever could have. And it sounds so easy to fix and turn into a $1 billion opportunity for one exporter. It sounds easy, but I hope it is something that is easily done quickly. Because if it's not, we're losing out on an opportunity.
Yeah, it will eventually happen. The idea is how fast it happens.
And that depends on leadership.
And we need the government to be active. Wherever we have a disadvantage or anything, the government should be very proactive and make it happen, and actually engage with the exporter to understand how to solve the problem. Like Mexico, our phytosanitary certificate is not accepted there. Why are we not fighting? We get it there. This is a pool of the Central American countries where our rice cannot go. We should get it accepted. We should go to other markets where we can get more influence and push and make things happen. And we should work in other grains. I mean, rice is one grain. We should work in a lot of other grains and, make it happen.
Well, hopefully the right people get a chance to hear this and reach out to you to help them make it happen.
I hope so.
Thank you, Shahid. Thank you all for tuning in. Stay tuned for more episodes. Like, subscribe, comment, and let us know who you want to see next. Bye-bye.